give me one mic. Everybody's got excuses, but you got one life to live, one life to give, one moment, one opportunity. Boy, that's it, and it's all said and done. When the going gets tough and the tough gets going, you just go ahead and run. Cause opinions are like assholes, everybody has one. They're being constructive or they jealous of the outcome. It's not about the times you fail, it's about the times you got up.
Boom, we out with the explosion. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy, Justin JLB. Welcome to WTN Wrestling Talk Now. I swear to God, I got to get echoes out of my head there. Perfect. I'm just like Randy Orton. I hear voices in my head, but they have stopped. They have stopped. Perfect. Jesus. Welcome, everybody, to Wrestling Talk Now. It is your boy, Justin JLB. It is Thursday night, so you know what that means. We run shit down. I am not alone. I, of course, am with my amigos. We are back, folks. Big Red, how goes it, good sir?
We're back with a twist.
With a twist. Absolutely. We will explain the twist. But first, we shall introduce the man who's fresh out of Portugal. Kid Crazy, how was it?
Oh, it was great, man. It's always good to be back in your hometown, where your roots are from. And like Kid Crazy loves to do it, we party like we rock stars, and now we're back to reality. So let's get back into the reality aspect of life.
Fair enough. Yes, absolutely.
Vida loca.
Yeah, he lived the vida loca. Now he's got to just live the regular life going forward
Exactly.
there. So, he done did it. Now it's back to the grind, and that's why we are back as well, because we're all here and we got a lot to talk about. So it's going to be with a little twist.
Yeah.
Before it was just we run down the week, which I guess, Thursday night rundown, that made sense. But it's a lot to run down. And so we decided to change it up a little bit, where we're going to really talk about first, we're going to do maybe like, depending on how many hot topics there are, how much news there is going forward between AEW and WWE. We're going to start off with some hot topics from both federations and just overall wrestling in general. And then we will, give our, tops and drops of the week. This can essentially be from anything to top wrestler, worst wrestler, top move, worst move, top show, worst show, a little bit of everything. And the other one, I forget
Over and under.
Use over and under. So overrated, underrated. Who is your most overrated superstar of the week, overrated, underrated superstar, overrated segment, whatever you felt about this week is what we're pretty much going to be breaking down. And essentially by doing all of that, we'll kind of get to the majority of what happened during the weekend, or at least the good parts, the really good parts, and the really bad parts. So it's kind of going to give everybody and everything a little recap, all in all. So it should be a good time. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about this week as well. I guess first things first, WWE is no longer now the WWE Stock Exchange. It is considered TKO, which is the merger between WWE and UFC, or and Endeavor. So they did that. They did that whole ringing of the bell at the stock exchange on Tuesday. So officially, it is an end of an era. That means the last Monday night's Raw was the last Monday Night Raw where Vince was in full, or the McMahon family were in full control. They didn't really do anything special per se. But at the same time, I don't think Vince necessarily cares. So, and with that news, we also did find out that Triple H was still going to be head of control, head of writing. So there you go. That's it. That's it. It's a new era indeed. And Triple H is still going to be a full control in terms of writing. But of course, he's not on the board of directors or anything like that. So he's literally just head of writing, like what Paul Heyman used to be back in the day.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling. Triple H has been head of creative for almost about a year. Yeah, pretty much
Yep.
a year now.
Yep.
Things have been some things have been good, some things have been all right, but it's been certainly a more watchable WWE for Triple H's era, if you will. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't, it's still there's still some crap, but there's a lot of wrestlers too, right? So
It's a lot to deal with.
a lot to deal with as well. So I do get that, and then Trips kind of taking control of two brands in that regard. It's a lot. It's not just NXT where he can just focus his whole thing on one brand and that's it. So it's a lot. So
And
I
he's not
get
going to be perfect. Everybody, he is human. So he's going to take decisions that people won't agree with. But as long as in general, the product is getting better, which I think it is, I think we're okay. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think I heard that he will only be reporting to Nick Khan as is his only, a supervisor, I guess, or person he's reporting to. Uh, I guess because Vince McMahon is the executive chairman of this new merged company, which is TKO.
Mm-hmm.
right,
Nick Khan and Dana White stay as respective presidents of each company.
right,
So if I read correctly, I think Triple H will only be reporting to Nick Khan. So I'm sure that Vince McMahon might have inputs to say if things don't like he really doesn't agree with something that's happening. But I
Right.
don't think he'll have an impact on a daily or weekly basis for the creative in WWE.
Right.
Well, I mean, there was mentions of him actually tweeting certain changes to change on Raw, kind of thing, because he wasn't there. So I think Vince is very much there when he wants to have his input felt. He will do it just because it's Vince McMahon. And I don't think anyone's necessarily going to tell him no unless, the head president of Endeavor is like, listen, we've been getting a lot of complaints. But I mean, he has a fairly good relationship with Nick Khan. And I think Vince initially did this deal this way so that he could still really be in power, right? So
that makes sense. It makes sense. He still has a very high position. I guess only the president of Endeavor is basically has more power than him on the WWE side of things.
Right.
So the power is still there. Just hopefully it's more for the business aspect of it. Maybe for these new TV deals that will be coming and stuff like that. So if that's the case, then that's okay. As long as creative Triple H has the majority of the decisions and at least has a bit of leeway and a bit of leverage or a bit of loose to play with without having Mr. McMahon breathing down his neck.
That's it. And I guess it would depend too, right? Because I'm sure if it's around Royal Rumble time, or maybe around Survivor Series time, or even WrestleMania, of course, I'm sure Vince will have a say. He'll have a say, but at least we don't really know per se in terms of how much Vince is doing backstage, but I mean, there's a lot of storyline. I mean, the fact that Chad Gable is going over, hopefully, and wins the title against Gunther, because they are finally pushing Chad Gable, and I don't see that being a Vince move. I see that being something Triple H would be inclined to do. And by the way, it's about fucking time. Maybe it's 8 years too late or something, but better late than never. So there is a lot of stuff that definitely doesn't have Vince's name on it, but then there's also probably certain stuff with like this whole bloodline scenario that's kind of going on. I don't even know. It just seems like they're going back and forth with it to the point where there's no real story to tell. Like you can tell they're just trying to prolong it for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's more like they're trying to fill the gaps into the storyline while Roman is away on his A-lister break. So I guess that's what they're trying to do, and just trying to take up time because that was a big part of the SmackDown. Remember, guys, before our summer break, a big portion of those 2 hours of SmackDown were centered around the bloodline, and now without having the boss there, you kind of have to just like ride the wave until he comes back and make the story more interesting again. I guess that's what they're doing, and I can see how it's hard to do without your main attraction, trying to get the story to continue without the main attraction of the story. Um, I guess LA Knight has helped out with the filling up the time slots on SmackDown.
Right.
So that's helped a bit. But yes, and another thing I was about to say when you were saying I'm sure Vince still has his fingers on certain stuff. I was about to say wink, wink, Nia Jax, but from Monday. So I'm sure
I
Vince
am
had a bit to do with
surprised.
it.
I am surprised we didn't get an injury update for Rhea or something
Ooh,
like
shots
the next
fired
day.
there by JLB.
Oh, dude, I was expecting it. I'm like, oh, you done did it. You came back for 5 seconds. You did that leg drop on Rhea, and now she has a broken neck. God damn it.
I'm giving hope.
I'm not giving hope. She injured too many people. I'm still upset over that time she injured Zelina Vega, like back in when they had Women's Revolution. And I'm like, yo, this girl should have been fired then. And just because she's The Rock's cousin, they're giving her leeway or whatever. I don't know. It was surprising to see her back. No, there was no dirt sheets on it. I guess no one really cares, or, they did keep it kind of somewhat hidden. At first, I thought she was joining the Judgment Day, and I was like, okay. And then I'm like, that maybe could kind of be cool. Maybe that would give an actual thing between her and Rhea, an actual feud. But no, instead they were just kind of like, nope, I'm just gonna go attack you now.
She feels like she's just gonna attack everybody. I also thought they were gonna do a Judgment Day kind of story there, or maybe try to recruit her after she helped Rhea. But obviously they went in another direction, because I think there was something worth maybe exploring there for Nia Jax. I'm on JLB's side in the fact that yes, she has injured a lot of people, and she has been horrible her time in WWE. I'm just hoping that this time off she worked on her in-ring abilities, and maybe we'll be safer.
I wasn't a fan of that layout. I'm sorry.
I prefer this one too. We see our beautiful faces much better there. But yeah, that's what I was saying is hopefully she worked on her in-ring abilities and became safer in the ring. So we'll I guess time will tell this, but I'm ready to give her a few weeks. But we'll know fast. We'll know pretty fast.
We'll definitely know fast. Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely know what's going to go on there. And what else? What else is with WWE?
Well, Chris, you wanted to talk about JD?
Oh, Judgment Day. Yeah. For maybe I trashed. I'm going to talk about myself here. I'm not going to put anybody on the hot burner here. But I really trashed Judgment Day back in the day, especially in that time period where they were kicking out Edge because they were going more into a supernatural kind of gimmick, and Edge didn't.
I think everyone was trashing them at that time, though.
Yeah, I think, and it was how do you say? It was merited. But with the evolution that they've had and character evolution from all of them, from Domenico Sporco, which people call the Dirty Dom, which is Domenico Sporco means Dirty Dom in Italian. And his character evolution is the best one, obviously. Rhea is a dominant force. I think she has come out more. I know they have no leader, but she has come out as more as the leader figure in Judgment Day. Damian Priest has done a great job in ring. Senor Money in the Bank, yes, has done a great job with his in-ring matches. Has gotten better on the mic. Still has some improvements to do on the mic, I think, for Damian Priest, but has got better. And I think Finn Balor, also a big piece of this Judgment Day, has also finally started to enjoy coming to work again. Well, at least it seems that way. And I think they've been the hottest faction, and it helps out also the fact that with Roman Reigns' time out, that they have become kind of the heel faction of WWE, which traveling from both SmackDown, appearing on SmackDown also, but being mainly Raw character superstars. But I think their arc, their storytelling has been great. I think
Right.
the giving them all the belts was the good idea.
Yeah.
I think it made them just that much better. And I don't know about this story about the production. I know Samantha Irving talked about it on Twitter about some people complaining about the production lowering Dom's mic and
hiring the crowd audience's boo
there's
sounds
boos.
or whatever, or
Exactly.
piped in sounds. I swear there's piped in sounds, bro, because
I don't think
It-
so.
it
I don't
sounds
think so.
fucking weird. Well, then you're really lowering that mic to like nothing, and then you're really upping the volume. It just sounds really off, though. I don't mind you having you booing Dom. That's fine. But at the same time, it just is fucking like I could tell it's fake. I could tell you're manipulating the scenario here than the scene with Dom. If he's getting booed that much, and as Samantha Irvin said, like whatever, she sent that text message to her dad, I think it was, where like, oh no, it's really loud here, like people are booing. Then why the fuck do you need to manipulate anything to begin with?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We've all heard about the stories that the WWE does it, and it's been confirmed by various sources inside
Since
the
like
company.
the Thunderdome.
So yes, so they got that brilliant idea during the Thunderdome, and I guess they're playing with it, and they're using the crowd's reactions because definitely they're booing him, and definitely they've done this before. You guys remember when they used to do it with Roman Reigns when he was doing the big dog gimmick, and they were doing it, and now I guess they're playing, they're running with it, and now they're exaggerating.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think I agree with Justin here. I don't think they need to exaggerate. It's already the organic feel of it was there and was just working out perfectly. So I'm not here to say that they are adding or that they're not adding. I'm just saying they don't need to do it because obviously the people are booing him. The heat is real, and it's working. It's working. Dominic is probably one of the best heels on all three brands, and that's why they send him to NXT. He was the same reaction there. He has the same reaction on SmackDown, and his in-ring ability is getting better because he has the genes in him, right? He comes from wrestling. Doesn't only have one royal family, and we could definitely consider Mysterio, the Mysterios as one of them. And I think his the basis is there, and I think he's getting better, and I think he's only going to get better. He's putting on very good matches recently. The title match he put on NXT was great. That one I got a chance to see. So I think everything is going good in this in this faction, and I would like to know what you guys think. If you guys think they're the hottest heel faction or faction period in WWE, and where do you see them going from here? What's next for the Judgment Day?
Big Red, do you want to take it first? I feel like we haven't heard from you like all podcast.
Well, there's no other faction.
Oh well,
So-
yeah, that's kind of true.
Well,
also.
that's fair. Yeah, that's a fair point.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, is there another faction? I'm like, no, there isn't because Bloodline is dead, more or less, and there's no other faction.
I mean, I don't know. Bloodline's not necessarily dead. We have Jimmy wanting to go back in it, so they're just stringing that along for a bit.
It's not as hot as it was.
No, fair enough. Because they are. But to your point though, yes, they are just beating it with, they're beating a dead horse in that regard because they're literally going to prolong this until Mania. That's what I feel is happening. Judgment Day has been fun though. Judgment Day has been fun. I think Rhea was really the Rhea and Dom connection was really what helped the Judgment Day completely. Like you mentioned, when Edge was there, it was garbage, complete trash. Because I think WWE wanted to make it some kind of like special,
no, not WWE. Vince. It was Vince.
Vince, WWE.
It was Vince.
Hand. Vince wanted to make
Vince
it
with his purple bandana.
with his purple bandana.
Do rag. It's do rag.
Do rag.
Whatever.
And wanted to make it this whole little special, like have special powers and whatever have you. And then Edge wasn't like really like into that, so they were just finding themselves, if you will. But ultimately, Rhea and Dom did absolutely help that out, and I think the Judgment Day and Bloodline storyline that they seemingly are pushing towards should be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Survivor Series.
Yeah, Survivor Series, or I guess, yeah, Survivor Series is right around the corner, but Survivor Series, and I guess that's where you can even do war games with them, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
Oh.
that would be nice. But who would be the heels in that?
I think it'd be Judgment Day.
I think you don't necessarily have anyone, you have them both as heels, but you have them both as cocky heels who think they could run
Okay,
everything.
makes sense. Yeah, that's a way to
Right?
go. That's a way to go.
So that could be a way to go. Yeah. So I mean, Judgment Day's been doing good, but you know, there really isn't any other factions aside
Well,
from Judgment Day and the Bloodline.
There's LWO.
I mean, non-existent, to be honest with you.
What about the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley? Has
Well,
that
is
developed
it-
in the last few weeks?
Is it a faction or is it?
It seems like the beginning they're trying to put something together. At least before I left for vacation, I guess
Yeah.
that's how it looked like. I don't know how it's developed since then. If it's died down a bit or if they continue.
No, so they're
on-
going for the tag titles, it sounds like. So they're also going to be facing off against the Judgment Day.
Oh.
But Lashley did also mention they're going after like all the titles as
Okay.
well.
Wait for that already.
So faction to be, because if you have only two, well, I guess you have three people, but just Lashley hasn't been wrestling, so he's really just been the manager.
Okay.
So I guess if you consider that a faction, it's still fresh, but it's also really cool. Thank God the Street Profits got something different. I
Yeah.
actually care about them a lot more now, and
Right.
they look good as Bobby's henchmen, if you will. So
You think there's room for because we've seen a bit of a we saw the Bobby talking with MVP trying to kind of make things better in between them. MVP looks like he's still carrying around Omos. Do you think there's place for MVP in this new faction?
I think MVP has to be in it. I think he without him, there's no mouthpiece.
I kind of agree. Even though Montez is good, is all right. And I won't say good. He's all right on the mic. I think he can be much better. But I think with an MVP next to them, I think that would give them more of that stellar like presence as a faction.
Mhm.
You know, I do like the way they were starting off. I do like the Street Profits wearing
Suits and all that.
the suits and all that. I think it makes it look good. It makes the faction look strong. But I do think MVP. Maybe that's something that we've seen in Triple H is he's more prone in doing the long-term booking, long-term storytelling here. So maybe he's just telling the story of the formation of this new faction, which I don't even know if they should keep the name of the Hurt Business. I think there should be a totally new name, just to have a fresh start, and not people like look at that as a Hurt Business 2.0 type of thing.
right.
I
mean,
but
it still might be considered that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think you just completely rename it or just totally new faction. I agree with that. Yeah.
I think it's the way to go. Give them a fresh start and something to build from there. So people don't judge them or compare them. I know obviously the comparisons are going to be
For
thrown
sure.
out there.
Of course.
It's only normal. But
Mhm.
I'm saying for storytelling purposes, start from fresh. And I think maybe they could become more of a babyface faction. I think because I think Judgment Day. I think they could work, but I definitely prefer them as a heel faction, and especially having the belts. Heel faction with all the belts always works better.
Yeah, but they're missing the world title. So you can't say they have all the belts.
No, they definitely can't say they have all the belts because they literally don't have all the
All
belts.
the belts. Right.
but yeah, I guess because the
Just
world
give me
title,
1 second.
I
Go
guess
ahead.
because the world title, they're not ready to take it away from Seth Rollins yet. Because I think if they would have done it, it would have been Finn Balor uh, to have it. He would have been the arc um, to the story of him, those 7 years
Hmm.
of suffering for Finn. I think it would have been that. If they didn't give it to Finn there, I don't see Damien cashing in anytime soon.
But talk, I heard a story. Well, a story. Not really a story. A plan. I heard a plan of what they're planning to do with the Judgment Day, and basically what's his name? JD
McCollum,
McDonough.
McCollum. Thank
McDonough.
you.
Yeah, you're right.
He's supposed to come. He's supposed to join them soon, very soon. And Priest is supposed to leave.
Mm.
And what? Yeah, I see you're testing.
Yep. Perfect.
Um, but the way he's gonna leave is that basically there's two briefcases. There's the purple one and there's the original one.
Okay.
And the plan is, well, this is what I heard, is that Finn is gonna tell Priest to leave the original in their like little locker room.
Okay, the green one you're talking about?
Yeah,
Mhm.
the green one. And basically he's gonna take the contract out from the purple one to put it in the green one, and Finn is gonna cash in.
Okay, and then eventually, which would be turning Priest into a babyface?
Exactly.
Because I've heard before that the plan was to turn Priest into a babyface. Um, so
Now,
I'm not really surprised. Maybe it won't go down the way you read it will go down,
no,
but I think
it never does.
I think Priest will end up being kicked out, and I
Yeah.
think a good way to put heat on Judgment Day and Finn Balor, and to make Damien look like a true baby face and turn into a good guy would be in some way to steal or take that opportunity away from Priest. That would
Hmm.
that would make sense. Um, I think it's a possibility. They haven't
I think
announced.
they're taking too long for that, though. I feel like they had that perfect timing. Um, More towards when what was it? Seth was facing
Nakamura,
no before Nakamura, or yeah, maybe during
Finn.
Nakamura. You should have had Finn, yeah, or Finn or Nakamura. They essentially should have just started doing something there because when you already saw the animosity between them, you're like, oh, okay, something's gonna happen, and then we saw JD McDonough, I guess, because now JD can be short for Judgment Day. So
Mhm.
we saw
Yeah.
McDonough there. And then, okay, someone's leaving and someone's coming in. So I just don't know what they're doing. They're almost prolonging that now. I guess they were going to do that, but maybe they don't want anyone cashing in yet from Judgment Day.
But I
Because
think it's
now
gonna.
everyone has a title. So
I think it's gonna start again. The troubles in paradise.
yeah, for sure. It's most probably gonna happen, and maybe it might happen after they do the Bloodline
Well,
storyline.
I gave
Yeah.
it another where September. I was gonna say
Well,
Rumble, but Rumble's too far.
Now we have one more premium live event before Survivor Series, right? In the October one.
Yeah,
Or is there one
which is Fastlane.
okay,
Oh,
Fastlane.
yeah.
Okay.
Fastlane was the pay per view before Mania.
Yeah. It used to be.
Well, I
Fast.
know, but they always switched it
Yeah,
up.
they've
It
been
was
switching it
Elimination
up
Chamber
recently.
for a hot
And
minute.
did you hear about technically talking about pay per views that now they want cities to bet for their pay per view?
Well, yeah, they're working on that with DraftKings. Yeah, as
No, as in example, let's say Montreal wants a pay per view.
oh, you mean to bid? To
To
bid?
bid?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like
Okay. Okay.
they want to do what UFC does.
Well, yes, because that was a bit of the point of John Cena's appearance and at the London show. What was it called? The pay per view.
In London.
Yes, the one they did at the O2 Arena, where John Cena came out because he was filming in London, and then he said, "Why wouldn't it be great to have a WrestleMania?"
Right.
Oh, you're right. That
And
was what was paper? Which preview was that? That
it
was
was like 2 months ago, so
Yeah.
I don't remember which
Um,
one it was.
Jesus.
But hey,
SummerSlam.
was it SummerSlam? Yeah, I think it was SummerSlam actually. Yeah,
No,
because
it
the
was the
last one
money
was.
Money in the Bank.
Oh yes, that's right. Money in the Bank. That makes sense.
I see
Makes sense.
you're testing too.
I'm just testing all over. Yeah. Just checking what's
So
working.
yes, so whatever it was, Money in the Bank or anything, he came out and he like kind of
Right.
pumped up the crowd to see if they were interested in having a WrestleMania and kind of pushing the elected officials to kind of because apparently they've been negotiating for this for a while and nothing has been kind of advancing. So maybe it was just a negotiation tactic to try to rile up the population and push the elected officials to pay for this because basically that's what Saudi Arabia does,
That's what Puerto
and
Rico did.
that's what Puerto Rico did,
Yeah.
and I guess that's a new way to get
Make more money.
new revenue coming in.
Yeah.
And as a public run company, that's usually what your shareholders will ask for is
Yeah.
more
More money.
revenue, more
That's
money.
it.
So I guess I can see that's where they're going with this. Um, I don't know if it's a good idea to just be about the bid. Um, Sometimes it's also strategic to where your house shows are and where you're building or where your big pay per view, your one of your big four pay per views is coming. Because there's a lot that comes into it. Um, the logistics of bringing a pay per view like WrestleMania to London. That's 2 nights. That would be. I think that would be very hard. Plus the Friday night SmackDown also in that. So I think that would be very hard. But I guess it would happening. And to for the bidding part, I guess that's where we are now in the where the company is at the point the company is, and I don't see that much of a big problem there. I don't see Montreal bidding anything for WWE, at least not any regular pay per views. So maybe
Right.
we won't be getting WWE pay per views anytime soon. But as long as they keep on coming for Raw and SmackDown, I'll be okay.
That's
Jid,
it.
you want to answer
Exactly.
that?
Unless you're coming out for WrestleMania or something, then
Yes,
maybe we
yes,
might bid on it, or even Royal
yeah.
Rumble. I don't think you necessarily need to do. I think the bids would probably be for the four main ones
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah,
I
that
think
makes
so.
sense. That makes sense.
Because that makes sense. Because that's where you're probably going to get a lot more cities putting up a lot more money. I don't see that necessarily happening for I don't know Fastlane or Elimination Chamber or
Mhm.
whatnot, and those could kind of work towards um, your house shows where your house shows are situated and whatnot.
True.
UFC does it. That's what they kind of do. Now they're all together, so they're gonna kind of follow the same guidelines, if you will. Um, and who we don't know also what's happening with the whole Fox deal as well, right?
Hmm.
Um,
True.
so we don't know if they're gonna go back with because Fox has mentioned they wanted to pay lower money for it, but then apparently there's also talks with Disney and I
Mm.
believe
Amazon.
Amazon. So it's this is a Nick Khan move slash maybe Dana White also as well because that's what the UFC's been doing for however long kind of thing. So I would imagine MMA is more popular than WWE in terms of getting a lot more people to watch and bid and so on. They do definitely have a following. So
Yeah.
makes sense. So we'll see how it goes with WWE doing that, but I don't see it being a problem for the first four, for the main four rather. Do you guys think Mania will go back to arenas like MSG?
No. Simple no.
I don't think they'll be doing those small arenas for Mania.
Mm,
I think the one exception, if there will be one exception, it might be Madison Square Garden because it's where it
that's
all
it.
began,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe for like their
um,
50th.
or
Or
something
they
like
have
that.
like a two city thing. They've done it before in the
Right.
past.
Yeah, that's
You
very
know,
very possible. Because they do have the option of going to New Jersey and doing it at the MetLife, which they've done recently.
right?
But I think there's still the the possibility, a strong possibility, just for the nostalgia part, that they will be doing MSG show for Mania. But like I said, maybe only for a 50th type of thing, going back to where it started, where it all started. Maybe they would do that, but I don't see them going. I think the opportunity. Look, this year, this one they sold in first night in 90 minutes. They sold
Well,
out the
they
first
sold
night.
90,000 tickets,
Yeah,
I
that's it.
think, for both
90,000.
shows. I
That's
think
right.
it was the combo tickets or something.
That's it.
So,
That's it. Okay. So they sold 90,000 tickets in a very short period of time. So I
yeah,
think that the demand there for Mania is huge. Plus, everybody around in the wrestling business um, rides on the back of WWE during that week.
right.
All the independent promotions all have shows during that week and that
That's it.
weekend. All the what do you call them? The conferences, the cons, the wrestle cons, and
Wrestle
the star
cons and whatever. Yeah.
and the star
Comic
casts
Con.
and all that. Yeah, comic cons and wrestling.
Well, it's
Wrestling.
WrestleCon, I think they call it. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, WrestleCon, Comedy Con. It's a con.
it's a con.
It is a convention. Yes,
It is a
absolutely.
convention. Yes.
That you're right on. I will give that to you, good sir.
So I think that this whole thing of Mania being in stadiums just works out. I don't see how they would go back just to the opportunity is there. That's why they made it a 2-night, because hey, it's 2 nights. We can sell double the tickets.
Yep.
So and they stayed with it after the pandemic. The same way I think they'll stay with the stadiums, because it's just worth it. It's
Why
just
cut
worth
your
it.
profits?
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
And if they would do it in MSG, which I think it's a possibility for like a big show like the 50th, but I think the prices will be like skyrocket in that case. You're going to be in the
It'll be
20,000
$10,000 for the bleachers.
Yeah, that type of thing. And they probably still get full.
Yeah.
Because you could get 20,000 idiots to pay $10,000 for
Yeah.
bleacher things. I might be one of those idiots, so you know.
There you go. Yeah, that's it.
So, but yeah, I think that's good, and I think going forward, there's money to be made. To get back to finish on the Judgment Day, there's money to be made on the Judgment Day. I think also we've heard rumors of Bad Bunny wanting to come back and wanting to do a little longer stretch, maybe a not maybe a push, but a run. Probably not win the title, but a run towards the title. You know, he would like to take that title away from Roman Reigns. I was only asking as before 20th, the last few manias were in stadiums. Okay, and they did go. It's true that they had done the stadium shows before. I think the first one would have been what's the one the big one that they did was WrestleMania 3, right? Was that the big one at
Yeah.
yeah, that was at the
Hogan and Andre. Yeah.
yeah. So then they went back to smaller. Then eventually they went back to stadiums when they came to Toronto.
And then like
for
WrestleMania
6.
9 though. Wasn't WrestleMania 9 outside as well though?
Yeah, that was
Was
at
it
Caesar's
WrestleMania 9?
Palace
It was-
in a build. Like they built the bleachers, they built everything. It was outside.
And then 10 was in New York.
And then 10 went to New York, and then they eventually went back to at 18. They went back to stadiums, and then they slowed down a bit. The stadiums. It was, I guess, the 2005 there, 2000.
It's a seesaw. It's a seesaw.
Yeah, and it was also the dead period of WWE. It's been really like nothing
Yeah.
really was happening. There was no big stars. It was kind of the beginning of John Cena. So it was kind of a dead period there. And then eventually they went back, and I don't think they're going to look back on it from there. Like I think
No.
they have the fan base enough now at a certain point where they could always bank on having stadium shows and the stadiums being full. And that's it. Going back to Bad Bunny, I think Bad Bunny wants to come back, and I think if you want to, with a guy that's so over like Bad Bunny, and you want to make Damian Priest baby face and a high baby face, I think putting them together, which was very popular in during that Puerto Rican show, I think is a way to go. Maybe come and save. Maybe when they turn on Damian and they beat him up, maybe have
Bad Bunny comes to
appear
save
and comes
Damian.
and save him, and he could ride a bit on the popularity of Bad Bunny a bit, and then when Bad Bunny goes back to his regular stuff, then you could have an established baby face in Damian Priest. So I think the cards are on the table for Judgment Day. I love the way they've done it. They've become the character growth that they've become, in the faction that they've become. And I think only good things can happen if they do the things the right way, which is everybody involved. And Rhea, I think Rhea should have more matches. That's maybe one little ick that I would say about anything with the faction with Judgment
Well,
Day
Rhea and
is Rhea.
Raquel was a pretty spot on
Yes,
match, though.
and I want to see
That
more of
match,
those.
I want
Yeah,
to see more of those. I
yeah,
love that they're pushing Raquel. It's about time.
yeah,
Oh,
Uh,
I think
I'm
now you're
still,
gonna.
I'm still
Go
not a
ahead.
fan of her little
yeah.
fucking
The back pose.
back
Yeah,
pose. Like, I'm like, okay, like enough. Um,
I
yeah,
think you're gonna
but
see
I love
a
that they're
triple
pushing
threat
Raquel.
now. But continue.
Triple
Sorry.
threat
Yeah.
for Raquel,
Well,
Rhea, and Naya. You're saying?
oh,
Yeah.
I think that's a possibility. Since Naya turned on Rhea, I think it's a possibility, and I think it could work with the Raquel and Rhea obviously carrying the heavy load of part of the
That's
match.
fair. Yeah.
I think it could work, and it would help
Naya will
also
just be
Nia.
there to take the slams, and then
Exactly.
both can pick her up and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, show those feats of strength from both Rhea, and I think it can work. I think it can work. So more bangers. We want to see more bangers from Rhea.
Bangers.
And
Yeah.
bangers, and that's it. Want to see more bangers from Rhea and Dominic too. I think Dominic, I think we all love the booing and not letting him talk. I think it helped elevate his heel status, but eventually he's gonna have to they're gonna have to let him talk and like get the real heat coming. You know,
Yeah.
I liked I used to like it when he hears when they go like on NXT when he went to talk to D'Angelo, Tony D'Angelo,
Mhm.
and he called him my my penitentiary paisan. That was hilarious. That was very funny, and I think that conversation he had it also when with Jay, right, when he was inviting Jay
Yeah.
into the Judgment Day. So I think there's stuff to do there, and so we want to see more of Dom, more of
Well, it
Rhea.
was Finn inviting Jay to the Judgment Day. No.
No, the
The
first time, the
first
first
time was
time,
Dom.
Oh, the first time. Okay.
yeah, the
First time
first time was Dom.
was Didi.
Yeah, Dirty Dom.
Dirty Dub.
So yeah, so that's Judgment Day. I would wanted to give them their props for for running with the ball and scoring a touchdown. Now let's see if you can win the game.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's certainly been working, and it at least gives you something different to watch. I thought that KO Sami Zayn tag match was awesome. I was pissed that they lost the titles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that match was super fun. And honestly, I don't see KO and Sammy. They weren't really doing anything. I would have
No.
loved to have
Mhm.
see them have kept it for forever. But at the same time, as soon as the Bloodline storyline was done, so was their like tag team
I think
relationship.
Kevin getting that little injury really hurt their momentum there. Um,
Yeah.
Sammy did his best to keep, even though I heard he had some little lingering injuries too.
Mm.
Really kept tried his best to keep that momentum going. The reactions from the crowds were still there and are still there, but them as a team kind of a bit deflated there. I'm not saying it's over and they should end it right now because a chaser, baby faces when they chase the titles always have an opportunity to get back that momentum. So we'll see where WWE and Triple H and the creative team take KO and Sami Zayn. I think eventually, like we've talked about before in the podcast, I think the goal is back to having a more of a main event style match at WrestleMania between the two, even though they
Mm.
did have their match, but it wasn't like the top match. And I think now with both being
And they didn't have it at Mania against each other, which would be awesome.
That's it. That's it. That's what I think. That's what they would want to.
Yeah.
They've been wishing for that since they started in the industry. I think that's what we would like to. So maybe now start telling the story slowly, about how you get to a match between Kevin and Sammy. I think now it's time for Sammy to turn on Kevin. I think Kevin turned enough times on Sammy.
Right. Yeah.
Um, even though some people would call this last time with the bloodline, I think it wasn't really Sammy turning on Kevin.
Right.
It was Sammy. Kevin was pissed, but I don't really think it died. I think Sammy as a heel has worked before. I know he's really over, but I think his character and his ability to develop a character is just over par. on everybody else. So I think he could just do a
Yeah,
great job.
he can make the creme of the creme with dog shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you even that whole paranoia gimmick that he had.
yep.
You know what I mean? Where his whole conspiracy theory thing, thought everyone was against him. He did that whole video montage. He was going to do a documentary and all
Hmm.
that. Like, no one necessarily cared for that, but we, with Sammy doing it, we kind of started caring. Like, no one was
Yeah,
supposed to really give a shit. It was just filler. But it
yeah,
ended up being pretty entertaining, and it even gave him that, jackass match, which honestly, I don't know if anyone else could have pulled that off except maybe
No,
a Sammy or
and
a KO or a
yeah,
Seth, maybe.
yeah. Maybe.
Like so. Yeah, I feel like that's the only way to go. KO has talked about being content at where he is, where he's not overthinking things now when he's wrestling and all that. In terms of, when's my next world title? When's this? He said pretty much after Austin, the whole Austin thing, he's kind of super content as to where he is, and he's just going with the flow now. So I I think that's ultimately one thing that would go above his um, one thing that would go above and beyond, aside from him facing Austin, would be him facing his best friend at WrestleMania.
hmm
That would be fire. That would be above his expectations, and it would, they're both have amazing chemistry together and against each other. We've seen them fight, but we haven't seen them fight at WrestleMania. So let's go. I am down.
Yeah, let's start building this story, and I'm sure all you got to do is tell them, listen, the point here, the goal here is for you guys to have rivalry and fight at WrestleMania, and they'll just go with it, and they'll do a great job.
Yep.
I'm over it, to be honest with you guys. Like,
Over.
over Kevin and Sammy. Like, we know there's a love and hate relationship. Move on.
Well, yeah, because they can't, because they've been there what, over 10 years now in WWE, or about 10 years,
Yeah,
2012, 2013.
yeah.
There, actually, I think it's 2000. Sammy came a bit before, and then Kevin
And then
came a bit.
KO,
Yeah,
yes.
then
Well,
KO.
KO came when Sammy won the NXT Championship, right? Then
That's it.
backstage.
That's right.
So,
That's right. So I think in all that, in 10 year span, obviously you're not always going to have both of them baby faces, or both of them. So there's got to be ups and downs. There's got to be character switches. There's got to be reinvention of themselves, like Sammy's done a lot. But Kevin a bit less. Kevin's been true to his gimmick, the most
mhm,
of the prize fighter gimmick, for
right.
most of his time. But Sammy has reinvented himself a few times. So I can see, yes, how some people might get fed up. Oh, again, he turned on him. Oh, we could see that coming. But this is at the end of the day. We know it's going to come. They can't be friends forever. They
That's it.
work extremely well together, whether it's together as partners or together as enemies. They always do a good
And
job.
KO always seems to be in these scenarios, right?
Yeah,
KO and Jericho, um, KO and Sammy, KO and Seth. I
yep.
think at 1.2. You know what I mean? So yes, we've seen it before, but it's still entertaining
Yeah, as long as
because
it stays entertaining,
KO, as
exactly.
long as they just keep it entertaining, no problem. We love KO, we love Sammy, and I'm not just saying that because we're Montrealers. I'm
Hmm.
just saying that because they're both guys that could go with anything. They could
Hmm.
take whatever you give them and they'll make it what they want. These two guys have known each other for so many years. It's going to be good chemistry, and I don't really have faith in them building something up for before then for something different.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I maybe Sammy could face Jay and that becomes a thing. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Them as a tag isn't working. So you got to break up, and what's next? You got to feud against each other.
Yeah.
So uh, that's kind of the storybook ending. And to finish it at Mania, let's go.
Yeah, yeah. It's like when you're watching a movie, right? There's, you know,
Oh, there's a pun there. It's part of his theme song.
there's it's like when you're watching a movie, especially when you're watching, let's say you're watching with your girlfriend a romantic comedy, you
Mm-hmm.
hmm
know you know that the guy's gonna fuck up
When
at one point, and he's
drive
gonna get
safe.
her, and he's gonna get her mad,
Yep.
and then he's gonna have to get her back, and at the end they end up together. So there's but we still watch, and sometimes it could be interesting, it could be funny in between, and that's what we want to be, is entertained, even though we might know Like my father used to say, "Oh, the main actor never dies." So what's the point? He's not
That's
going to
true,
die
though.
anyways. So uh,
I
as
mean,
long as
James Bond did die. I mean, that happened.
yes, yes, obviously there's exceptions. There's
When
exceptions
did
to the
James
rule.
Bond die?
There's the last one when he died. Daniel
Yeah.
Craig. Someone didn't watch the last one.
Daniel
Don't ask me what the last one's called, but
Wait, who was the
Never
Bond?
Die
Who?
Alone. I think.
Daniel Craig.
Oh, that's why I didn't watch it. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So sometimes where the story's going to go or where it's going to end, but as long as the journey to get there was entertaining, then I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. So to KO and Sammy fighting at WrestleMania, I am all in. Just give me that match, and I'll be there to watch it.
Should we switch?
Okay, let's
Companies?
do it. It's a perfect. This week it ends up being perfectly separated because our first hot topic got us to talk about WWE, and our second hot topic will get us to talk about AEW. A few things happening with AEW since we've been off for our summer break was obviously Mr. Phil Brooks
Who?
coming in and doing Phil Brooks stuff that we
Tell me what I'm
expected.
telling lies.
Phil Brooks stuff.
That we expected, and we said that if he was going to come back was probably going to happen, and it did happen.
Yeah.
And the company being valued by his
Faster
name,
than we thought.
by the managing editor of Forbes, which Mike Ozanian, the assistant managing editor, of Forbes Media, who did a study and estimated the AEW company's value at $2 billion.
He's sniffing
So-
something strong.
So like Tony Khan. So let's start. I guess let's start a bit with let's get the dirt out of the way, and let's talk about Phil Brooks and CM Punk. If somebody wants to maybe put a little quick recap, and put in context this quick,
Sure.
this little short run.
We can go. Okay, so obviously we know All Out happened, All Out Brawl Out. He got suspended. CM Punk came back. He was there, did his lively little promos. And then he was the head of Collision, right? They made Collision for CM Punk. CM Punk was apparently had control over what happened in Collision, and things were going all right. Things were going okay. Stuff was happening. There was drama ensuing, though. We had drama after 3 weeks of Collision being a thing between CM Punk and Jungle Boy, because he didn't like Jungle Boy's whole using of real glass during a match. It's not safe. And all this, and he starts talking trash about Hangman Page while it's off air, and just doing all of these little comments. So, All Out Brawl Out was when the first incident happened. So, what better way to do it than All In, Brawl In? What better way? There is no other way to do it, because CM Punk likes to make a story. So, All In, Brawl In, obviously at Wembley, which was supposed to be about the show, but of course CM Punk makes it about himself.
Cheers.
And whoever did the booking here was also really stupid, by the way. But how does Tony Khan know, right?
Yeah.
So then there's an issue that happens backstage after Jungle Boy's matchup. And we heard Jungle Boy say at All In, this is real glass, so take that, or something along
Cry me a river.
Cry Me a River. That's it. And then Jungle Boy goes backstage. There's a whole confrontation we hear about. Jungle Boy apparently gets sent home. Phil Brooks has a whole bunch of security near him. He almost wasn't going to go out for the Joe match because apparently Jungle Boy got in his face, and we heard that CM Punk had choked him, and that there was monitors being thrown near Tony Khan. Whole bunch of stories happening. So even before, this was technically also before All Out. No, I think it was just maybe after All Out.
A week before All Out.
Well, that was a week before All Out, but I'm saying the actual firing of CM Punk.
Yeah, I think it was just
the
a
week
bit after All Out. After All Out, exactly. Sorry.
That's it. So then we had heard. So after all the rumors, because obviously the dirt sheets went crazy on this, because no one was talking about Wembley.
Sorry. Let me get this straight. Because they didn't. it was before the collision, before All Out,
Yeah.
that they announced that he announced it on the collision broadcast because it
Right.
was
In
in
Chicago.
Chicago. It was
in
in Chicago.
Chicago.
That's right. That's
Fair.
right.
So it was just before All Out happened,
It was that week.
and
Yeah.
it was that week, that same exact week. So there was internal investigations that had happened,
Whatever that's
and
supposed to mean.
Tony Khan had mentioned in Chicago. Kudos to him for going out there.
Bravo.
On
Mhm.
top of that, and just mentioning, listen, guys, I'm sorry, but there was an internal investigation done, and he was saying that he feared for his life and all that. So apparently, they also had a conversation like backstage in his office where he might
felt
have
threatened.
lunged at him. He felt threatened.
Mhm.
And so, therefore, they had to terminate CM Punk's contract, and thus being no more CM Punk.
And everything was good in
there-
the world.
I mean, I don't know. Look, there was that whole drama with CM Punk not getting the right, not getting picked up at the airport, but apparently he wasn't supposed to be.
Nobody was
because
apparently.
Nobody was.
Play
and
the
then-
violin.
I know. He loves doing it. He loves doing it.
It's the
And,
smallest
he was-
violin in the world.
Yeah, that's it. So that's it. So
Give
CM
me
Punk,
a break.
and then so CM Punk got fired. Young Bucks are the happiest people in the world. They even wore the same outfit that they wore at All Out.
All Out
Excuse
last year.
me, last year.
Yeah.
And everyone's essentially a happy camper. And there's reports that CM Punk might come out with something relatively soon about dishing his own dirt, according to Forbes, if I'm not mistaken, or
Yes,
Sports Illustrated or
Sports
Forbes,
Illustrated.
that he might
Okay.
come out with his story.
Okay.
But-
And that's it. That's
Okay,
with
John
all-
seems John
Yeah,
seems
sure.
eager to comment. So go ahead. Go.
With all that happening, do we miss CM Punk? I do not.
Absolutely not. I've
Is there a
mentioned this
difference?
before. I've mentioned this before, and I was really pissed when he came back.
The only
Uh,
difference is there's less drama.
Well, yeah, because one part of it is All In was supposed to be their biggest show and the biggest part of AEW's short history, a building block, a huge building block they could have
Yeah.
built on. And instead, all people talked about was CM Punk
Yeah.
and Jack Perry, obviously, but CM Punk. So that's a huge strikeout for AEW here, because they were doing it so well on the lead up to, even though maybe I didn't agree with all of the comparisons and calling it the greatest wrestling show or the best wrestling show in the history of
And
wrestling.
the card
Most
was
sold wrestling-
stronger.
Because we all know what came out today.
Most tickets sold. Yeah.
What came out today about the turnpikes, that only 72,000
Oh yes.
people crossed the turnpike, so it's not even the most
Well, I
attended
mean,
show.
I feel bad for Osprey.
I think that also
You got
means,
that tattoo.
did he get that tattoo?
He got a
Yeah.
tattoo with the 80,000 whatever with the location of the arena.
Oh, snap. Okay. Well, but keep in mind though, because I think also too, yes, there was only 72,000 that went inside the arena, but I think there was still like 82,000 tickets sold. So there was a bunch of people that just didn't go, I think.
Yeah, it
Was
could,
kind of the thing. So yes, attendance wise, they all weren't there, but ticket sales wise, I think was still correct technically. I don't know how 9,000 people don't go to a fucking huge show like that, or whatever the fuck have you, or maybe Tony Khan just paid a bunch of tickets or something.
Mm-hmm.
9,000 is a lot, but whatever. So there was 9,000 that seemingly didn't go, or
Okay.
8,000 that seemingly
But
didn't
WrestleMania
go.
3 had 93,000.
Yes, but a lot of them weren't paid, and maybe it was an inflated number a bit already. That 93,000, and a lot of them were comp tickets. I understand all that, and I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have a problem because 72,000 for a company that's 4
It's
years old,
humongous.
Amazing.
it's fucking
Amazing.
great.
Yeah.
It's fucking
It's a
great.
Taylor
What
Swift
I do
concert.
have a problem with is the way you promoted it and you sold it that way, and then after it turns out to be like that, and that's where when you
Overachieve?
no, when you overhype
over-exaggerate.
something,
Yeah.
when you overhype something, and then you'll always, most of the time, you'll always underdeliver because you promote it as the greatest thing in the world, and then people are always going to be disappointed because I
Let's
always
be
I
honest.
always say go middle of the middle, even though you have a great product, always go middle and don't get too over excited. Scalpers
Scalpers as
also,
well.
yes,
Yeah.
is also very possible.
But
Yeah.
But
let's be honest. That card was not the best.
it was a put together card. I think what happened
That
was
was a
when they so,
collision call.
I
when
don't. I
they
wouldn't go that far. I thought it was a decent card.
no, the
A
matches
lot of
were
great
great.
matches. Yeah.
The matches were great. The ones, the big ones. The problem was that I think when they sold all those tickets in that short period of time, in that 24 hours, that first week, whatever, I think at that point he said, okay, we really don't have to announce any matches for that anytime soon. We already sold most of the tickets.
Right.
So let's try to concentrate on building storylines on Dynamite and on Collision, try to make those shows better. And
But was there one storyline that you were
no, they
like,
were all
I
put
have?
together matches.
Okay, exactly. So how do you make the biggest event of the world without any good
Well, I
match?
mean, they were referring to. So yes, he was calling it like their WrestleMania and
Mhm.
stuff like
They
that, and
said this
so
is
on.
bigger than WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but they really were just talking about the attendance, though.
Yes,
They weren't talking about their card is going to be the
to their
best that they've
defense, yes.
had. You
To
know,
their
so
defense, yes. It was mostly about the attendance that they were.
it was
they were-
literally the semantics of it. The biggest sold event in the world, the biggest wrestling event in terms of intent.
But I would like to know the pay
attendance.
per view numbers for All In. I'm.
Have they released them? I imagine they would have already.
I imagine
I
after
will.
after almost
Yeah, do your thing.
2 3 weeks, 3 weeks,
Oh.
right? 3 weeks after, I think I imagine they would have came out with it because okay, maybe you sold, but these are people who are excited to see wrestling, especially AEW that never been in England before, and England is
I was
very
pumped.
very
I
thirsty,
was.
very thirsty for that type of event, a wrestling event. But did people buy it, pay $60 to watch it on TV? This was their collision, yes, in Korea type of thing when WCW did went to
Yeah.
with New Japan went to North Korea.
Well, behind we're gonna have another episode of Behind.
Well, yeah, I think this does the behind the what is it behind the ring? No, behind the
Dark Side of the Ring.
dark side
Dark
of
Side
the
of
ring.
the Ring,
Sorry,
thank you.
It was beyond the mat, and then
Beyond the mat, exactly.
confuse me there. So yeah, dark side of the ring there for All In CM Punk version of Dark Side of the Ring here, but
Fair, yeah.
but yeah, I think it was once they saw all these tickets were sold. They go, okay, we don't need to build up to matches like this. We'll just put on good matches and what they call
But there was
Uncle
nothing
Dave's 5-star
exciting.
matches.
Besides the Osprey match.
Well, no, you had Young Bucks and FTR.
Yeah, Young Bucks and FTR.
Okay,
was a
besides those
banger.
two matches and the 6-man tag.
And the Stadium Stampede. Stadium Stampede was fun.
Oh, that was lame.
No, it was fun. It wasn't what you look
I didn't-
for in a wrestling match, but it's
Well,
definitely what you look for in a stampede.
It was not my taste then. I guess.
The CM Punk, even though all I can hate on CM Punk versus
Joe
It was
Joe
was
okay.
was
It was
a
okay.
good match.
It was okay.
I think that's the problem with AEW. Is that they do put on great matches, but they don't give me a reason to watch next week.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, look, you had Cole MJF, right? So that was fun because we seen everything that happened with
That was a
MJF
banger,
and Adam
man. That was-
Cole. Banger of a match. They told a fucking story there.
Yeah,
Obviously, MJF kept it. FTR Young Bucks, that's always fun. Hikaru Shida versus Tony Storm versus Britt Baker. I honestly don't. I remember it being a decent match, but I don't remember much of it.
yeah.
Unfortunately, Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus the House of Black. You know, it was what it was.
Yeah.
This was the weakest Punk versus Joe match of the 5.
Punk was pretty pissed before getting out of there.
Yeah, before going down to the ring, I'm okay with it being the worst of the 5, but it was still okay. I would still give it a.
Sting and Darby
nice.
versus Swerve and Christian was pretty fun too. Like it was
Mhm.
it was a nice, like the 3-on-3 Hangman Page and Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega versus the Golden Elite there was fun too, or
Bang
no,
Bang Club.
the Golden Club, excuse me,
Yeah, the Bullet Club Gold. That's right.
Bullet Club Gold.
The
That's
Bang Bang Gang.
Yeah, that's it. The problem is that with AEW, and it's always been kind of the problem. They do have some long term storytelling, like the Adam Page, Kenny Omega thing. It does happen where they do it, and it works, and it always works. When they do it, it works. But a lot of it is just put together matches. He says in his head, he goes, "Oh, these guys would have a great match. Bang, let's have that match on Dynamite," instead of because that also would raise them, would higher the ratings also. Because if you build a story, okay, let's say for example, let's use last night Don Callis. Okay, this story.
Can I fucking get a person though? Does it really have to be Obishi's heart? That's gonna be the next member of fucking Don Callis's faction, like
because he wants to take away the heart of Kenny Omega, which is so the story there has been following and it's been good. Here, the problem was also 2 pay-per-views in 2 weeks since the world title wasn't even defended at All Out. There's also that also. So the following week in Chicago, where you just fired their hometown hero, and you don't have your top star. You don't have your championship being defended.
What was the main event at All Out?
I didn't even watch it, so I don't know.
I saw what I didn't see the main event, but I saw what it was. I have it on the tip of my tongue. But check it out because now I won't remember. But yeah, the potential for long-term storytelling, like in Don Callis's. Now I want to watch next week. What are they going to do to Kota Ibushi? You know, I'm interested in finding out what they're going to do to Kota Ibushi, and I want to see more of that. And so I guess maybe he needs to surround himself with some professional writers, and start building.
AEW doesn't have writers.
No, they just get. But I don't want them. I don't want them to give.
Wait.
Okay.
In the beginning, didn't we say we were happy that they didn't have writers?
Wait, no. I always said that you don't need. You need to give them a bit of freedom with their promos, but they need to have guidelines. Orange Cassidy versus Moxley was the main event. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. I think this was Mike, if I'm not
Which
mistaken.
was also, exactly, Mike.
Yeah, so
good job, Mike.
Yeah. So,
fire match.
Fire match.
Fucking
Probably
Orange Cassidy,
man. Out of all the bangers that Orange Cassidy has put up in the last year, this is probably his peak, man. It was probably his peak, and that was great, man. Props to him for the run he had as champion, because that was a
31 defenses.
See that story? Okay.
And that's on TV. That's not even outside of
in the house shows and outside AEW. So can you give me a balance in between Orange Cassidy matches like he's been having one after another in an open challenge kind of gimmick, and the storyline, so I could want to watch next week, like Don Callis right now with Kenny Omega has been going on for a few weeks now. That's I want to be convinced. Like I want to watch because I know the wrestling is going to be good, but I want a reason to watch.
You want a story? Yeah, that's it.
And I think you have the talent there, and you obviously have the money. So I don't see why you wouldn't want to surround yourself with writers. It doesn't mean that the writers are going to be dictating your booking. You're the one making the final decision at the end of the day. But at least to give you a hand here in the structure of how to build a story and how to tell it in a few weeks to build up for a pay-per-view or for a Collision. You need to give people reason to watch Collision, because on Saturday night, the only people are going to watch are going to be hardcore fans. So if you want to raise your which we talked about with the when they announced Collision was going to be on Saturdays, I go, guys, already it's really hard on Fridays, having a hard time on Fridays. And how are they going to do this on Saturdays? Well, the only way they can do it is by making people want to watch the show on Saturday. It's as simple as that. Because or else they'll just DVR it and then they'll fast forward through the match. They'll just watch the matches, fast forward through it. But if you make them want to watch it, then they'll watch it just to because they want to know what's happening. Like you want to watch a new show. There's a new episode of the new series you've been watching.
Right.
You want to see what's happening next, but it's only going to be on Saturday. So you want to watch it? Do you watch it? Okay, guys, I'll come and meet you guys at 10 o'clock, whatever. I got to watch wrestling because I want to know what the fuck's happened with what happened this week. And that's what they need. That's what all elite wrestling needs. Now, hopefully with all this drama and the weight, the negative weight that was Phil Brooks on this company, I think now they could get that out of the way, get all the drama out of the way, all the backstage and center on the product that they want to put through. and because I'm very scared for Collision and for the deal. I don't know if they signed a new TV deal because the
Not
rumors
yet.
were that there was in the final straws of it. So I don't know if it's finalized or not, but I haven't heard any official hearings from that. So I guess it's still not. I'm very scared for Collision. It's hard to watch Collision when WWE pay-per-views on Saturday, UFC prelims, and other boxing shows. And Friday, it's hard to get into a 1 hour show at 10 p.m. I completely agree.
Yep.
I completely agree. Look at that. The day that Payback was the last WWE pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
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 The numbers were horrific. There were 345,000 people watch Collision. Like that's horrible. That's horrible for your second main show. What is supposed to be
I
giving.
think also too what also maybe ruins it a little bit as well is the fact that it's recorded, right?
Is it?
So
Well, now they switched. Yeah, they switched to it being recorded now. Yeah.
Oh,
they
yeah.
switched. I mean, yeah, that's it. So I think it was live for the first 2 weeks. Or
Yes,
something.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then
2 or 3
they
weeks, yeah.
switched it to doing it after they do basically Rampage and Dynamite, and then they do Collision and ROH. I want to say, is it
Simple.
ROH?
I think so. I think it's
I
ROH.
think it's
Somebody
ROH.
can correct us if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's ROH. Because like when they're coming to Montreal, it's on Tuesday and Wednesday, right?
By
Tuesday
the
and
way,
Wednesday. Yeah.
have you guys looked into the tickets?
Well, I'm doing
Yeah,
my old
so-
my old thing. I'm just
I
waiting.
I
waiting it
went
out.
today around before going on. The cheapest ticket right now is 110.
That's
For
the
Dynamite or
bleachers.
Rampage?
Dynamite.
Dynamite. Yeah, Dynamite's crazy. So Rampage is much cheaper. Keep in mind though, you gotta make sure you're not looking at the platinum tickets because platinum tickets for like front row or on the floor
No.
is
You're
like
you're
going
you're
at
up.
900. Something.
You're up.
900? Okay.
I went to 110 and then it would drop. It goes all the way to 175. That's all
And
I
then
could find.
that's it. And then Rampage is a lot cheaper. Rampage you can get for like 2 something for like front row.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Alright.
not bad. It's just
But-
Dynamite is disgusting.
Okay,
Like
so
I told my
And
friend,
Dynamite
you
next
just
time.
got to look. Well, this is just Ticketmaster, and this is the pre-sale thing. So I feel like Ticketmaster or maybe the venue or whatever, it's like platinum tickets, which is why it's so expensive. But it's essentially just the venue as a reseller kind of thing for their own tickets.
I will
So
look into it
it's
tomorrow.
silly
but,
stupid. Well, tomorrow it officially comes out everywhere, kind of thing. So
I'll look into it.
yeah, look again.
I
But,
think I'm gonna
I
go
know-
with my old strategy, and I'm just gonna wait it out till the week before
And just pay
when-
like $700 on the spot.
No, I never paid that much.
I know. I'm playing.
I paid. They were for the tickets at the backlash at the Elimination
Elimination
Chamber. They were 1,005 when we started, and we ended up getting them for 400 something.
But that's a pay per view.
Well, we went to SmackDown.
Right.
We went to SmackDown, and it was also at 1,002, and we ended up paying those 350.
Senior money in the bank. That's you.
It's just because I think this whole Ticketmaster thing has ruined. Look, I talked to a scalper about this, and it basically ooh.
That sounds that does. Yeah, he definitely worded that
This-
completely wrong.
This is
but
a
yes,
child. Children watch this show, people.
yeah, no, this is to go see the wrestlers, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes,
obviously,
yes,
joking. I think I got that one, but yeah, because I think that I talked to a scalper, and he's what he mentioned to me is basically Ticketmaster has put him out of business, basically, because Ticketmaster are now the scalpers,
Right.
so they buy all the tickets and they try to sell them, and then as you're getting closer to the day, then they want to get rid of them because if you buy all the tickets from WWE or for in this case AEW, and then you have half of the arena empty, then AEW is going to say, "Oh, Ticketmaster, you guys bought all the tickets. Now we have half. How are we going to fill this up for camera? How are we going to make this look? You know?"
Right.
So they want to fill it up. So as it gets closer to the date, then they'll lower the prices. But then on the last day, they raise it back up. So the little amount of places left on the last day, then you're still going to pay a lot of money. But if you're in the 2, 3, 4 days before is when when it goes down to the lowest and you see it, then they start staying at that, and then bang, you hit you trigger and you buy them. And that's what I did, and I guess that's what I'm going to do because $900 for front row seats are way insane,
Yeah.
way insane. That's even higher than SmackDown was last time. So
Mm.
the last
But
time
you said it was
before
a
the pay-per-
thousand two.
no,
No.
no, but before. Sorry, I meant last time before the pay-per-view when they
Oh,
came
okay.
Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so that's where I want to see AEW go, and I think they can do it. I just want to see more storytelling and give me a reason to watch the next week. The next week. Want to watch the next week.
Uh,
Um, so yeah, this let me get to this 2 billion. Okay. Um, so let me put it in context. I'm going to read the article for you guys, so we can debate. So this is analyst values AEW at more than $2 billion. Talk on if it could be higher or lower AEW's worth. So AEW was recently valued at more than $2 billion, and while there is warranted skepticism over that figure, the analyst believes it could be higher. Mike Ozanian, the assistant managing editor of Forbes Media and co-host of and managing editor of Forbes Sports Money, recently did a study on AEW business of late as he valued the company at more than $2 billion. It was noted by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that this figure sounds very high, and others are skeptical as well. But Ozanian might not be too far off. We noted before how WWE stock recently dropped due to concerns with UFC competitor PFL, Professional Fighters League, receiving a $100 million investment from SRJ Sports Investment, a company launched by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. Why are the prices so high? Considering I heard Toronto were selling tickets for the price of 2 hot dogs and a soda, which would come with the ticket. Good question.
Yeah. Especially if
Uh,
that's happening in Toronto. I didn't hear about the Toronto tickets being that cheap necessarily, but yeah, I don't know.
because everything's
Again,
expensive in
it's
Montreal.
maybe it's
well, I
because of the
mean,
venue. Maybe was it because of the venue? Because it was in those smaller venues?
that's true, huh? Because they weren't at the Scotiabank Arena,
No, at least
right?
not the first time they went for sure. And I don't think for the collision for the two shows they did Hamilton, and I don't think it was at the. I don't think the Toronto one was in the Scotiabank. I'm not 100% sure about that one, but I know the first one
Okay.
definitely wasn't. The first
Okay.
Toronto show definitely wasn't. It was at the Coca-Cola Marina or something. I don't know if
Right.
they changed the name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, and I know, I'm pretty sure that the
I'm
collision
surprised
one
they didn't
too.
go to Place Bell. I'm surprised they ended up going to the Bell
They won
Center.
the big times.
No, I get it, but I mean, like, how are you going to be so sure? I know
You're
you
gonna
were at
fill it up.
Wrestling City. That's a
They
lot,
probably saw
man.
the last pay per view here, and they say, you know what? They have a good audience. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be full.
No, he knows Tony Khan knows sports entertainment industry. I'm
Mhm.
sure he follows it through. He's known that Montreal is a good. He's been wanting to come. From what I've heard in podcasts, he's been wanting to come, but it was just never the logistics never fell in place. With I guess with WWE coming, the times WWE came, the times
Right.
the Canadians played concerts. Don't forget that the Bell Center is one of the most occupied arenas in North
Venues.
America. So
Yeah.
there's also that. There's also that. And if you wanted to come for 2 nights, then it makes it even harder to try to get 2 nights. So so I guess that would be a reason. But Mike's question is a very pertinent one that we would like to have answers for. Is if
Yeah.
Toronto is so dirt cheap,
Jesus, we're telling
why
me
are
it's
we paying so
$50
much?
for a fucking ticket.
And I
God
think
damn.
we're
And
better.
you get 2 hot dogs and a soda?
Well, I'm going to Toronto at the end of the month, and I was looking just for fun, like the food stands for a baseball game, and it's ridiculous how much we're paying for our food here. It's ridiculous.
Oh, you mean the foot stand at the Rogers Center
Yeah,
for
it's
food? That
ridiculous.
yeah,
It's so cheap there. It's
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah, you see that's another thing. I
Uh,
guess I don't know.
a combo, a hot dog, a beer, and a chip there is like 11 something.
Wow, that's a beer here costs $13,
There you go.
Uh,
and
So
you can't even pay cash.
no,
there you
that's
go.
it.
Okay, so
Before
let me, okay, go.
before we move on, you want to say something about the 2 billion or
No, just I just want to read that and just give my opinion on. I just want to
go
put
for
it
it?
in context of what the. So for all those skeptical of the 1 billion number that Dave Melcher put through, if Bellator's sale is taking about 500 million, there's no way AEW as a franchise isn't far more than twice as valuable as Bellator. Okay, which that's reasonable. then the Fight Oracle account then responded to Dave on Twitter saying 1 billion valuation for AEW isn't even close. It's a lot more. Valuations are more art than science, but cons don't need investment, so the valuation doesn't really matter. They'll send fund, aka bootstrap, and won't be diluted upon liquidity event. So what he says in his evaluation, it doesn't really explain um, how he got to that $2 billion figure. But what he
That
does
kind of
say,
matters.
that kind of matters in his thing. But that figure, he says, if you figure revenues at 12.5% of WWE and WWE's worth at 9 billion, you can get to a $1 billion valuation. But there is more to the valuation than just revenue, and that's basically what he says about how he got to the number. I've always heard that usually, but this is on not. I'm not a financial expert, so I don't know if what I'm saying is correct. But and what I'm saying applied to um, not publicly funded, publicly shared companies or
Right.
companies that are high valued. It was more like small business things. But I always heard that it's about a company is about valued between 3 to 5 years of total revenue, not profit,
Okay.
revenue. So I always heard that. So for that to be the case, for 2 billion, for AEW to be valued at 2 billion, it would have to be around at the figure of between 550 and $750 million a year of revenue, around that figure. Now, if we can confirm, if somebody can confirm that they have not signed a new TV deal, which we had heard the rumors would be around the 250 to 300 million mark at that time. Now, with the numbers Collision have given us, maybe that number can go down. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. With numbers around that, of them getting paid around that 250, let's say 300 to make it an easy number, $300 million in revenue a year. That's still not the $2 billion valuation number that this guy from Forbes has come up with. I think in 4 years, AEW have done grand leaps into growing their business and their company, and I think the business side is run pretty well from a guy that's pretty well versed entrepreneur into business. Let's just say that way. It's going to be too hard for me to say that.
Entrepreneurship.
Yes, his mentality, his business spirit. So I don't see. I could see it getting there, and what he's done in getting TV deals and getting TNT to embark on this business deal with him, I think has been great. Now, $2 billion is a hell of money. It took WWE 20 years
Yeah.
to get valued at that amount, even maybe a bit more, not 25, but between 20 and 25 years. So what do you guys? I wanted to know. I wanted to say that I think that number is a bit exaggerated and is a bit inflated. But I wanted to say what you guys thought about it. Is that a fair number to evaluate this company, this new company that's been around for 4 or 5 years?
Me personally, I don't find it makes sense. 2 billion. I find that's way too high. Simple.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with you there too. I mean, look, I get, Tony Khan and his father are billionaires in that sense. They're
Yeah,
like together, I
right.
think they're worth like 8 billion or something. So I'm just curious how he did come up with that number. 2 billion does seem, but when you're just calculating for it as a company, I don't know. Did he come up with that because of now the deal with Warner Brother and Discovery? How much did Warner Brother and Discovery end up paying Tony Khan for it?
I think it was in around that area where I said 200 or 250 million. That's what I had heard.
200.
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
if that's the case or not. I
Maybe it
never
was a
saw.
little bit higher. And I guess I don't think it's worth 2 billion now. I think I know he's saying that. I think that is maybe with the Warner Brother deal
Deal in place.
for however long they have signed something for, kind of thing. I don't think they're worth 2 billion now, though. I feel
Impossible.
that might be a bit not necessarily impossible, but I still feel it's a bit inflated for now.
Because I guess what comes into the calculations is also the wrestlers he has under contract, um, and for how long he has them under contract. Obviously,
Right.
the TV deals are a big part of it because that's now the big part of revenue in the wrestling industry.
Right.
House shows are very expensive to move. That's why WWE has kind of does them on the weekends now. So
Hmm.
it's really a lot of expenses in bringing all the rings and
That's
the
it.
logistics of bringing from going from city to city. So we know the main part of the revenue come from TV deals and from ticket sales from their TV shows and their pay per views. We know that Dynamite and Rampage and Collision have had a bit of difficulties in selling out arenas, but so have WWE. Maybe not as impactful as AEW, but it's very rare that WWE sell out a regular Raw or a regular SmackDown also. So
Right.
I don't know with the
Well, I mean,
TV deals.
their last Dynamite too, it was really low.
Yeah, apparently
In
the
what is
whole
it?
half of
In
it was empty.
Cincinnati, it
Yeah,
was like the whole half. I guess it was the non-hard cam side
yeah,
was empty.
yeah.
Um, I don't know, like that's just someone's picture and someone mentioning that because they took the picture while no one was in the ring, so maybe people were perhaps getting there, whatever have you. I don't know. But it's also I don't know. It could be a lot of things as well. We've seen that happen at WWE, so obviously the WWE marks are going. Jesus, the WWE marks are going all crazy there. Oh my god, da, 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 da. But I mean, the number itself is I'm no financial advisor or anything like that, but 2 billion after being a company for 4 years does seem like um, a lot, a lot. I mean, if you're did this counts with all the wrestlers' contracts and all that in terms of how much you're paying out and how much it's worth, then
Yeah,
technically, because it's just the revenue, right? So it's all your expenses
yeah. It's
essentially.
yeah, expenses, assets, revenues, and assets minus expenses and debts. But then they don't have debts because they paid everything out of their own pockets, right?
Right.
To start off the company. So I guess that has a factor also in it.
Perhaps, yeah.
Uh, so they don't have debts. What they always say: if you have no debts, you're a rich man. So I guess that would factor into evaluation of a big company like this. If a big company like this has no debts, that probably has to. Now that I'm thinking out loud
Mhm.
as we're brainstorming here, that would make a bit of sense. I don't know if that will take that huge part that I'm saying is lacking there in the 2 billion. That I don't think it's 2 billion. I think it's closer to the 1 billion mark
Mhm.
than it is to the 2 billion. Which don't forget that's 999 million in between that. So that's a lot of money in between 1 billion and 2 billion. So was there ever an explanation as to why WP per views are now on Saturday? Um,
I
not
mean,
really.
they change though too at the same time. They're not always necessarily on
No.
Saturdays. They have been on Sundays as well. I don't think there's an explanation. I just think it's whatever day they can maybe get with a
Yeah.
venue or something. Um, I don't think there's necessarily a reason. I imagine they would go to Sundays now though. Now that Endeavor is part of UFC, with UFC and all that, so that they don't compete with their own, you know, MMA
Yeah,
company.
with their own
So
product. Yeah,
with their own product. So I imagine going forward, WWE will start just being on Sundays.
because technically, WWE is before the pay per view. Yes, the prelims are at the same time, but usually it would be before the pay per views. UFC start at 10.
Well, yeah, yeah, but that's it. WWE is still on for another hour, though.
Yeah, because they're from 8 to 11 on Saturdays. They
Right.
were trying to do it. I guess okay. There's more than one factor. I guess in this. I guess because people will people will stay out longer and maybe get more intent to get together and watch together a pay per view on a Saturday than on a Sunday when everybody works the next day. Uh, I guess maybe that has something to do. And I wouldn't put it past WWE also as a strategic move to put it up against Collision. When they heard Collision was going to be on Saturday, might as
Mhm.
well start putting more shows on Saturday
Yeah.
and
Makes sense.
try to bury them, basically. So I wouldn't be surprised. In the competition, all is fair in love and war. So
Mm.
that's what they try to do. They're the competition, and they try to outdo them. And if putting a pay per view on Saturday hurts the other company's second B show, second main show, why not do it? It's just
They have
makes
been doing that before Collision was a
yes,
thing.
yes, yes, yes. It's not only since Collision, but
But it's
I
definitely
guess
an ongoing reason that
yeah,
why
yeah,
they keep
to
doing
keep it
it.
there, keep it there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Mm,
that was my thing.
Moving along,
Yep.
let's go over and under.
Over and under. So over and under, which is my overrated promo or wrestler and underrated promo or wrestler.
Over anything, under anything.
Okay.
So overrated or underrated on whatever you would like in wrestling this week, technically.
Yeah.
Okay, so since I haven't really, I didn't watch Friday SmackDown, and I glazed through Raw, I'm gonna go with over. Well, okay, it can be underrated. I can't say underrated because LA Knight is not underrated. He's definitely got the push that people have been waiting for the last few couple months. But my guy that I think is. But he's still underrated because he still doesn't have a belt and he still didn't get what he deserves. So I'm going to go with underrated, being LA Knight, being the number one, moving on to being the number one merch seller in WWE,
Yeah.
overthrowing the Roman Reigns, which is huge,
That's huge.
huge. And I went to go check out his t-shirts on the WWE shop, and they are nice. And definitely, I'm gonna order some very soon. Let me get back on my feet from the money I wasted on beer in Portugal, and we'll be getting some LA Knight T-shirts. Definitely, his promos are top. His in-ring ability is not the best, but it's enough to get him through. I think it's good enough to put on good matches, and I think he's only if this rumor of signing he still has a year and a half left in his contract, but they already have started negotiations for an extension. So if these rumors are true and he does get an extension, expect him to go to the moon very, very soon.
To the moon.
And overrated, I guess I would have to go with okay, I'm gonna go with the obvious here, and I'm gonna go with Nia Jax. Why is she overrated? Let me say this. Why? Because if it would have been at the 10th hour or in the middle of the show, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But bringing her back in the main event and being the centerpiece of the main event of Raw, she never deserved that, and she still doesn't deserve it. Doesn't mean she can't prove me wrong now once she's back. But as her first time back, taking over the main event and the ending of the show, for me was a bit too much. So those were my overrated and underrated moments of the past week.
Jay?
Yeah, so overrated. Overrated, I'm gonna have to go. It's gonna hurt. So
Just take it out like a band-aid.
yeah, it's gonna be
You could do it now.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Because I'm kind of like I love what he's doing, but I'm kind of getting sick of it. Overrated for me would actually be LA Knight.
Ooh.
Oh.
I love him. Okay. I like what he's doing. I feel like it's gonna get old really fast though. And we know now that Austin Theory is no longer being pushed. So we do get that. We get why that's not happening anymore just because he couldn't do it. And now they have LA Knight to kind of be Austin Theory to do what he wants. Love his promos. I love everything about LA Knight. I think him and Miz work out perfectly. The fact that they don't really continue the storyline more with promos is a bit silly to me. They should just keep doing that. Like build onto that and so on and so forth. But then once I heard that they were having contractual negotiations, I didn't realize he had a year left. I thought he had a shorter period of time left, and that's why they were kind of rushing to get him under wraps again. And that's initially why I thought they were giving him this push. I think he's great on the mic. I don't necessarily think he's great on the ring. I thought the whole mistake with Cena being the referee in that match between Miz and LA Knight just kind of didn't ruin anybody per se. LA Knight still won or whatever, but I don't think you needed Cena there to fill that spot. Sure, it made it a little bit more fun. But that might have been the time to maybe turn LA Knight heel. I don't know. I'm kind of getting sick. I love everything he's doing. I still do the yeah or the nah, but I don't know. I'm getting to the point where it's getting annoying, mixed with Bloodline storyline going on now. So those are my two overrateds of the night. Bloodline's going nowhere right now. It's kind of stupid. I get Roman's not there, but then I don't know why Jimmy would be considering going back. Just it seems stupid. Jay kind of being on Raw, cool, whatever. But Bloodline storyline is going nowhere, so hopefully they do something with that soon. And Cody Rhodes is always overrated. What do you want to talk about? I want to talk about how overrated you are. I don't care. Wrestle. You're good in the ring. Let's fucking go. Underrated. They're giving him that push now, but I would love to see more. Give me more Chad Gable, baby. I fucking love that he has this push with Gunther. It's amazing, and I think he's actually going to they're going to pull the plug on him and actually do it, make him IC champion. They certainly better. And I just think, although he's getting the push, I think it's underrated to the extent where there's still not, I don't know, like I'm almost scared that they're gonna fuck it up. So it might be a future underrated because I feel like they're not gonna make him win the big one, or at least for the IC. But fuck, they're sure making it convincing. So I'm going with Chad Gable as underrated because you took too fucking long to do it. He should have been there like 10 years ago. At where he is now, way before Shorty G and all that. And so I'm going to go with Chad Gable as underrated. And also the Shinsuke Seth storyline, I think is where it needs to be. And it's about fucking time we see this Shinsuke. He's been underrated for so long. We haven't seen this Shinsuke since NXT.
Yeah.
So love the new video package and all that. So I don't know if you could count that as underrated, but he's been underrated for so long.
Yeah, I agree with Shinsuke completely. I didn't understand one word he said, but I freaking love this promo.
Subtitles. There's the subtitles.
Yeah, yes. But I mean, just listening to him talk.
He's getting better, though. He's getting better.
He sounds like a real villain from a Japanese.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really
Master
doing.
Strider. Yeah.
Really doing some great stuff. I just want to jump in before John. Just want to say about Chad Gable. I completely agree. I can completely agree, and I think it comes back to the same thing as LA Knight.
Thank you.
It comes back to the same thing. They got to pull the plug. You gotta pull the trigger on these guys. When these guys, that's the problem with WWE. Sometimes when wrestlers get organically over, they have problems because they didn't make them get over. And then they have problems putting these guys over.
Well, we didn't write this.
Yeah, like, wait, you guys are not supposed to like.
No, what do you mean? What's going on here?
So please, just do it at the right time. I think LA Knight should have had something before, maybe Money in the Bank, or maybe the U.S. title shot that he didn't get. And definitely Chad Gable should have had his coming a long time ago also. So I completely agree. And please, WWE, pull the trigger on these guys when these guys are over. Please, don't have to do it right away. Tell a story, make them chase it. But when it's time, it's time.
And stop using fucking Tozawa as a fucking punching bag. Fucking do something with him too. It only
Great
took
match.
Chad Gable. Good match.
On NXT. No, great match on NXT this week. Tozawa.
Yeah.
Oh,
great
really?
match.
Ooh,
What
I
a
didn't watch
banger.
that. Okay.
What a banger. Go watch that match. That
Okay.
was the old Tozawa, the Tozawa we love. And
Who
not
did he
the
face?
Tozawa.
I see his face, but I don't remember his name.
Oh,
And it's a
that's
big
fair.
one.
If
It's a big
it's not
one.
a. Oh, it's a big name.
It's a big name from NXT. Yeah, it's a big
Oh
name from
shit.
NXT.
Not
And it
Ron
was
Breaker.
and it was a
Not
bang.
No, Breaker's having
Jack. Not
no.
Gravity.
Let me just put in Tozawa NXT this week. Tozawa
Oh no, not
NXT.
Gravity's AEW.
NXT
Sorry. What's his name? Axion.
this week. No, Axiom. Axiom. Was it
Axiom.
Axiom? I think it was Axiom.
Okay.
I think it was. I think it was Axiom. Let me see. No, sorry, Nathan Fraser. Nathan Fraser.
Oh, okay.
It was a global heritage qualifier or eliminator, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Yeah, Nathan Fraser, I do like him too. So it was a very good match. So for people who like Tozawa, definitely go watch that match. You guys are gonna
Nice. Definitely
you guys are gonna like what you see. Definitely what you like to see. Okay, go ahead, Big Red.
Okay, my overrated. You're gonna hate me, Moxley. I'm fed up. I don't want to see him on TV anymore. I'd rather see Miz on TV. To be honest with you,
Oh wow.
I
And
love
he
how
is the Miz, ladies and gentlemen.
to me, Moxley, as much as I love Hulk Hogan, is this? It's what's gonna happen before it happens with a Hogan match, right? It's 3 kicks, whatever, leg drop. Moxley, we're gonna see him bleed because he always bleeds. That's all he does is bleed. I'm fed up. I don't care. Yeah, I'm just.
The bleeding has definitely become a parody.
For sure.
I-
For sure.
I
And he
don't-
knows it. And he knows
Yeah,
it. He's
no,
like,
no,
whatever, fuck guys, I'm bleeding. This is my adrenaline.
It's
This
not
is what I
even.
like to
It's
do.
even his entrance. It just makes. I feel like vomiting when I see him. I
Oh
don't.
my god.
I don't know how Renee sleeps with that man. Anyway, next.
Oh
subject.
Oh, shots fired.
I cannot stand him with his little. He looks like he's having seizures when he's walking.
I mean,
Anyway.
PWI can. He's top 3 on the PWI 500 list. So
Yeah, well, top 3, no. Anyway, that's my over. Under, it's Shinsuke. Thank God that we're seeing that we have missed. I see him beating Seth very soon for the World Championship.
Well deserved.
But before that happens, I really want to see Ricochet versus Seth for a world title match. But in the end, I do believe we're going to see Shinsuke as our new world heavyweight champion.
why are we seeing Ricochet and Seth? Or you just want to see that?
You want to
Because Ricochet is getting involved with the story with Shinsuke and Seth.
Oh, okay, right. He gave Ricochet the beating, right? The backstage.
Yeah. And last time, before the week before that,
Oh, right.
he
I
told-
hope they do something with that. I thought that was just a one-off.
no,
though.
and before that, he had a promo with Seth saying, "Listen, you're not the only one on Raw. You don't need to do the show by yourself. We're here to help." So that's
Oh, okay. Look at them doing
So-
little storytelling. Okay.
so we might. I'm hoping we see a triple threat before Seth loses the title against Shinsuke, or
That
even
would
a
be cool.
one-on-one.
Or one-on-one. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
believe Ricochet deserves a main event.
I could see Seth giving Ricochet a shot just to piss
Yeah.
off Shinsuke.
And Seth,
Yeah,
just
but then that means Ricochet's not going to win it.
Well, he won't win it. No,
no.
not,
And,
a, world, not a world
And
title. not a world title.
Seth did say he wants to have a match with Ricochet for the title, with him having the title.
They'll
so-
put on a banger. So,
Yeah, that'd be
yeah.
amazing.
so
For that's over and under. Now let's do ups and drops. Who wants to go first?
Or is it tops and drops or is it ups and drops? Or is it ups and downs?
Tops and drops. Sorry.
Ups and drops?
Tops
Okay,
and
just making
drops.
sure.
Well, it's on the right corner. Tops and drops, and I didn't even read it. Who wants to go
Okay,
first?
somebody's got to go first on this one. So then after
I'll go. I'll go.
Okay.
Okay. My up wrestler is
So your top?
my top. Sorry, because I wrote up. Sorry. My top is Orange Cassidy. Amazing, just amazing, simply amazing. I love everything he does. For him to have, even though he lost against Bloody Mox, to have 31 title defenses and barely, I believe, 3 of them were only on pay-per-view.
Mm.
So that's what you call a fighting champion, in my opinion.
A workhorse.
A
And
workhorse.
easily, probably, majority of them are probably 4-star matches, if not 5 stars.
Yeah.
Promo. This is gonna hurt for me to say. Oh my god. The promo last Monday the Miz had by himself because we couldn't see John Cena.
No, that was awesome. Yeah.
It hurts me to say, but that was gold.
Is that when he gave
No.
him his finisher without the
Yes.
invisible?
Yeah,
Oh
to an
yeah.
invisible John Cena.
Oh.
You didn't see him? Y'all can't
Uh,
see him? Yeah, that was great.
that was great. That was good.
I don't have a match because there was nothing really that made me go, "Oh, that's a top." For my drop match, I would go Becky versus my God,
Don't you fucking dare say, oh, Becky. Okay, sorry.
Becky versus what was her?
You're going to
what's her
say
name?
Trish?
No, Becky versus the
That was fucking
NXT
fire.
Women's Champion.
Oh,
What,
that wasn't a
Tiffany?
good match? Tiffany Stratton?
What a match!
Okay, it's not the fact of the match; it's the fact that we have Becky in NXT and she's the champion. To me, I find that's a drop. I don't know why
Okay.
we have her in NXT.
Because I was gonna pick that as my top match of the
Okay,
week.
the match was good, but for her to drop, you know, to NXT, I don't know what for.
Pun intended.
No pun intended.
intended.
Um, and for promo, I don't have a promo. And for my wrestler, again, it's back to Moxley because I really can't stand that man.
Okay. So I'm gonna go next, and I'm gonna leave.
I still don't know how he walks off the ring, how much blood he loses every week. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. There is a problem.
It's his hydration, man. That's how he gets hydrated. He has to bleed.
I think it is getting redundant, and obviously we're not the only ones who see that. And
Hey, but during with Orange Cassidy, wasn't he the one that busted Orange Cassidy open?
Yeah, he
They
didn't
both
bleed.
bled.
No, he didn't bleed in that one.
No, he didn't bleed in that one.
Oh,
think
the
that was
match I
the-
missed, and he
Yeah.
didn't bleed. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And Orange Cassidy was bleeding all over the place.
It was quite a
Um,
vision. Yeah, it was quite a. It was quite a
I
visual.
saw images of OC. Yeah,
So, okay, I'm gonna go with my ups. My up match of the week, like I just said, I'm gonna pick Becky versus Tiffany
it
Stratton,
was a very good match.
and I'll explain. I'll try to defend the because even me, I was very surprised Becky won. But then, as I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, wait a second, there's a reason here. There's a reason for this, and I think there's two reasons. There's the Becky Lynch side, and there's the Tiffany side. The Becky Lynch side is, I think, Becky is just one of the best in the business right now. Promo, matches,
Okay.
everything. The match she put on with Trish in the cage was with top 10 of the year.
Yeah.
It's in the top 10 of the year. So I think, and you're negotiating for new TV deals, right? And this includes NXT, which NXT they get a little percentage of what they get for
But
Raw and
doesn't
SmackDown.
sorry,
Wait, let me
I don't want
finish.
to, but doesn't that hurt the roster of NXT who are trying to spotlight when you have someone that high?
No.
Well, I think you're also getting Tiffany Stratton in the main roster pretty soon.
Well, that's what I wanted. That was the Tiffany
Well,
part.
okay,
That was the Tiffany
that
part.
soon?
So the to
She's been
finish
there
the
for
Becky,
a while, bro.
2 years.
Yeah.
yeah,
But she's
and
good.
She's good. She's stunning. She's stunningly beautiful. Good in the ring. Good on the mic.
She's taken. God.
She's ready. She's ready.
She's ready. She's ready for the main roster.
Oh.
So I guess that was the Tiffany part first.
Okay,
So I guess you guys switched
Sorry.
me up here.
sorry.
So the Tiffany part is, I think she's ready for the main roster. So you needed to take the belt away from her. And the Becky part is that I think Becky is going to elevate, is going to put on bangers with these up and coming stars. She doesn't have to be. When Finn came back and won the title, he wasn't a champion for long,
Right.
right? So this is for a few weeks. Put on bangers with your top female stars in NXT. See which one can take that main roster spot. Not main roster, but that championship spot on NXT, and then roll with that. And I think Becky not only can help that in the ring compared to like a John Cena did with the U.S. Championship Open Challenge with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and all those people. I think she could have that impact on those other wrestlers. And the last part of Becky Lynch is, I think this could help the ratings. The ratings of NXT have been going up in the past weeks. We are getting closer and closer to the million. And I think there's a potential there with that. There's no hiding why they've been bringing these main roster stars to the NXT programming. It's because they want a more stable and higher rating for NXT. So when they could renegotiate, they could get more money for NXT, because NXT, they only get, I think it's 30 million or 35 million a year from USA to have NXT. So I think that's why there. So that's my top match of the week. Top promo. Since I didn't see SmackDown, I'm not sure. I don't remember quite an outstanding promo on Raw that I can choose. Um, there was a good one yesterday. Don Callis. Yeah, I'll go with Don Callis's promo
That was very good.
for
Yes.
Dynamite. I think that was good. Some good storytelling, and it furthered the story. That is the Don Callis versus Kenny Omega rivalry. As for my drops, definitely, I'm gonna go with Nia Jax in the whole main event of Raw. Really disappointing.
I
It-
liked the match. I thought the match was pretty awesome, but yes, the main event,
the
last
finishing, yeah,
the finishing sucked.
the finishing ruined it for the match, and that's something that sometimes
Sorry.
the wrestlers
Go
might not like it. Maybe they knew they could put on a banger, and that was going to kind of come ruin it. But whatever. So that's definitely my drop match. You want to say something about that match, John?
No,
Before
I just
go on to
noticed
my-
you're wearing a NWO red and I'm wearing the white. I just
Yeah,
noticed
yeah.
that now.
I'm
Sorry.
I'm definitely Wolfpack, and
Yeah.
and so my drop promo of the week. I really don't have one that's coming up to my head that I really stand out
All
that I
good,
didn't like.
brother.
So yeah, so those are my tops and drops for this week. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my top match. The only thing that's really hitting to me is Hangman versus Big Bill. I thought that was a really fun matchup.
Yep.
Was it
your
Big Bill?
top?
Brian Cage? Excuse me, Brian Cage, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Wasn't
it was Brian Cage. Sorry, it was
Brian
Mox.
Cage.
It was Mox against Big Bill. Yeah.
Oh, see, I skipped that.
It was Moxie. That's it. So Hangman Page versus
Brian
yeah,
Cage.
Brian Cage. That was a fun match.
Yeah.
Don't really know. I don't know if there's necessarily a story being told there, perhaps, but fun match. I liked it. Brian Cage seems to be getting back into his he was his wrestling bag to an extent. So a really fun match. I guess it depends on the chemistry he has with certain people. So that
Mhm.
worked. Top wrestler. I guess I'm keeping it AEW, but I fucking Christian, man. Christian is doing his best work ever, from all this Daddy's Dead to Nick Wayne's mom
Preach, baby, preach.
stuff. And oh my god, I saw Nick Wayne's mom, and I get it. Like, definitely DM her, because holy mama.
I didn't
Just-
see it, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll share it on the thing. Just fantastic promo work by Christian Cage. Promo, I also got to give it to MJF. That whole math promo. What the fuck, bro? You actually did a Steiner promo on fucking AE Dubs. That was hilarious. And also got to give it to Roddy and Samoa Joe. That was a hell of a fun match. And that storyline is probably the best storyline that's been happening.
Adam
Yeah.
Cole, Roderick Strong.
Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, MJF, Samoa Joe. Like, I could see that they can do storylines, but for
Yeah.
some reason they can't do multiple storylines at once. That
Yeah.
makes sense, you know? So like what's happening there, and I'm excited for next week at Grand Slam. That's going to be a fucking good time. So what I did my wrestler. Did I do my wrestler?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Technically I did. Yeah, my drops. So my drop storyline wise is Bloodline. I don't care if Jimmy wants to join back. I don't care that Solo is not giving him the time of day. I don't necessarily care that Jey Uso is trying to make friends on Raw. Like that he's alone, but where are you going with this, guys? I feel like it's all going to lead back to the Bloodline again, and I'm kind of tired of it. Give me Roman to know what's happening, I guess. So not liking that at the moment. You're stretching too many. You're stretching too much cable here. You got to give me something else. That storyline, drop wrestler, Nia Jax. I just have to. Didn't want to see her. Don't want to see her. Yeah. So not a fan of Nia Jax. I also am gonna say Zoe Starks,
Oh.
because I don't agree you should be teaming her up. You just had her with Trish for so fucking long. I think her and Baszler do make kind of sense, but at the same time, both of them don't need tag teams.
Mhm.
Don't put them together. They need to be single. You got to push Baszler as a singles competitor. You also got to do the same with Zoe. They're both badasses. Make them fucking face each other. Maybe that's what they're doing. Let's go. But like, do it quick. Don't make me wait for this Shayna Ronda Rousey scenario when I waited 3 years for that and that was complete trash. Do
Mm.
this quick because they might have a good match together, but don't make them team up for way too long.
Put a 30
So
minute Iron Man match that ends in a draw.
that's it.
They'll
That's
put
it.
on a banger. They'll beat the hell out of each other. It's going to be a good match. It's gonna make them both look good. I think it works for both of them.
That's
I
it. So I
agree.
guess it's Zoe. I guess it's maybe then Zoe and Shayna tag team kind of thing, partnership. That would have to go like
Be the
that
drop
together because I
storyline.
don't as the drop storyline. So I guess I had two drop storylines then in that regard. Wrestler, I said Nia. Storyline was Bloodline thing. What am I missing here?
You
Promo.
know, promo. Yeah.
Drop promo. I don't know. I'm not recalling any necessarily bad promos. I'll go with Dominic and this whole crowd booing bonanza stupidity. Don't like it when it's too piped. I still think there's also a lot of piping sounds going in and not just a lower of the volume and higher of the volume. Not caring about that. Stop it. Let just hear the normal booing. You don't need to over exaggerate it. No point. And yeah, those are my tops in my drops.
I
And
just
that's
want to
our
give
episode.
a special mention to the backstage segment um, of Dominic, Dirty Dom, and Jay
Mm-hmm.
this week. No, sorry, the Dirty Dom and Finn this week,
Mm,
where Finn is like, "Oh, but we like you, you know.
right.
I like you. Damien likes you. Dom likes
Rhea
you.
likes you. And he
Rhea,
smirks.
really?" And he's like, "Really, Rhea? Yeah." He gets all excited. I think that was fun. That was fun, and I'm intrigued
And
to see
that
if
was the indication that makes her the leader.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's who he cares about, liking
Yeah.
him. Uh,
Exactly.
and I'm intrigued to find out if he will join the Judgment Day and turn on Kevin and Sammy. So that's something to look forward in the coming weeks.
That would also make sense for the Judgment Day versus Bloodline storyline.
Yep, yep.
So that could work too.
We shall see.
We shall
We
see.
shall see.
That was a
Indeed.
great podcast back.
Yeah, not too shabby. Do like the new way of doing it, and we're almost right on time. So with
Hopefully,
that said,
hopefully
yeah,
the people listening also enjoy the new concept, and you guys let us know what you thought about the new concept, and we always ready to better ourselves. So
And
we're
if you
ready
guys
for any
have,
feedback.
definitely are.
if you guys have any ideas,
Yeah, let us know. Shoot us in the
Let us know.
comments. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter,
text me,
Instagram,
text Jay,
TikTok.
text
Yeah, I'm not
call.
giving you my personal number, you crazy freaks, but I love you all. There's a bunch of socials over there. So please, by all means, you can contact us any way that you can at WTN Wrestling.
Text me. I'll give you Jay's number.
Oh, Jesus. At WTN Wrestling for the most part, or Wrestling Talk Now on Facebook. You can find us all there. Do you guys want to give your personals?
Yeah,
Five
look
on
up
four.
Michael Costa on Facebook and start looking at our WTN TikTok because I'll be doing live reactions while I'm watching the shows of the week. So look out for that and let me know if you guys like what I'm bringing you.
That's fair. Perfect. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitch there at twitch.tv/JLB TLC25. I stream AEW sometimes. Fight Forever, Stadium Stampede is out, so that's always fun. But I don't always, I don't usually remember to stream it. I'm like, oh, fuck. So there's that. But at the end of the day, great podcast back, guys. We are back. We are better than ever. Back in Black, however you want to do it. There's probably tons of other songs that have back in it. WTN's got back. Baby got back. All right. It's a bad one. It's a bad one. It sounded better in my head. But that is it, folks. Thank you. Thank you to all the mics out there, and to everyone else who did come and join us for the live viewing. You can also watch this on YouTube, Facebook, on the replays. So please feel free to do so and comment below and let us know what you think. And aside from that, until next week, where we will all run it down once again, give you our thoughts, our tops, our drops, and the hot topics of that week. We will do that then. So until next time, ciao for now.